My name is Melissa Rands, and I am the Director of Accreditation and Assessment here at MCAD. The topic of this presentation is a popular one circling among higher ed practitioners, and that is the change from educating millennials to educating a new generation of students. So why look at generation studies? Well, examining generational cohorts gives us a lens to analyze changes in people's views over time and a way to understand how different formative experiences, such as world events and technological, economic, and social shifts, shape people's view of the world. When we use the generational lens to look at students, it gives us insight into how they view their educational experiences. I'll be presenting findings from social, marketing, and other research in order to create a context for how we might maximize learning for this generation of students here at MCAD. Generational researchers have determined a cutoff point between millennials and the next generation. Children born from 1997 onward will be part of this new generation. Since the oldest among this rising generation are just turning 21 this year, and most are still in their teens, the name is still to be determined. Some have called them post-millennials, digital natives, Generation We, or the dreaded iGen. For the sake of clarity, I'll stick to calling them Generation Z for this discussion. What is clear is that Generation Z is different from millennials in a variety of ways. They are the most racially diverse generation to date. This generation is predicted to be the last where whites are in the majority. They also grew up with an African American president, with women in positions of power in the workplace, and with openly gay celebrities on television. Self-identity is less restricted by binary gender identities. They have little to no memory of the 9/11 terror attacks, and the country has been at war for the majority of their lives. They have also seen the negative effects of experiences on real people through nearly unlimited access to information. As a result, they consider themselves to be compassionate above all other traits. The school shooting at Columbine High School happened in 1999. Since then, there have been 164 incidents of gun violence in primary and secondary schools in the U.S. For Generation Z, participating in lockdown drills has become an everyday part of school life. They are cautious and risk-averse, as demonstrated by much lower rates of alcohol and drug use among Generation Z teens than previous generations. However, Generation Z also strongly believes in its collective power and see themselves as a driving force for change, as we've seen in their ability to organize and mobilize. They were children when the economy crashed and parents and adult siblings lost their jobs. As a result, they know that the traditional path is no guarantee of success. Generation Z is pragmatic, career-minded, and used to having a part-time job or responsibilities or chores at home, and see themselves as directly responsible for taking the necessary steps to be successful. The iPhone launched in 2007, when the oldest of Generation Z were 10 years old. By the time they were in their teens, the primary means by which young Americans connected with the web and each other was through mobile devices. Social media, constant connectivity, and on-demand entertainment and communication are, for those born after 1996, largely assumed to be the norm. In summary, Generation Z is more diverse, equity-focused, pragmatic, entrepreneurial, intrapersonal, and self-directed than the generation before them. Let's break each of those down a bit and see how these generational characteristics might affect their view of and experiences in higher education.